Hey guys, make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on for more great content.
How old is too old? Like, say, not in terms of retiring, but say I'm a new player to CS:GO, and I've not really touched like FPS games too much, but like I'm a new player and I want to go pro in CS:GO.
Yeah.
What do you reckon is like the cutoff? Is there a cutoff to do with age?
I mean, if you asked me a couple of years ago, like when I was a little bit younger, I would have said, yeah, probably about 30 or something like that. But I think, I mean, for example, I mean, Forrest I think he's defying that fact for sure. I mean, I think he's 31 now. I'm not completely sure of his age, but I mean, he's still kicking and still has some of the sharpest aim you see in CS:GO at the moment. So I don't think there's an age factor. I think it's more so what your priorities are as you get older and the passion that you have for the game. And I think those are the two factors that make it if you want to keep playing.
The younger you are, the faster you learn. Like, it's easier for you to catch up a language if you start speaking it earlier. It's easier for you to get a good on a sport if you do it earlier. So I think if you start playing CS too late, it's going to be too complicated for you to get all those mechanics. Like, it's going to be harder for you to really get good at moving and shooting at the same time, understanding all those, know how to do it. The style is going to take some time. So I think if you start playing CS after 17, 18, it's going to be tough for you to become a pro, but that's not a rule. Of course, there might be exceptions, but I think the earlier you learn it, the easier it's going to get.
That's the beautiful thing about esports. There's no age limit. There's no restriction. You can be male or female. You can be anybody. You can be old or young. Like, you look at the young kids coming up nowadays. You have like Obo, who was 15, 16. You have like people in their 30s with wife and kids. That's the beautiful thing about esports, right? It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from or anything like that. It's just a community for everyone, and it's a level playing field. And if you work hard enough and you're good enough, you can make it.
It doesn't really matter how old you are. I don't think, like, it does. Like, a lot of people say, like, if you're 30 years old, you're too old to play. Like, the truth is that a lot of players at the age just lose motivation. It's not because they're individually worse well, they are individually worse, but because of the fact that they don't care as much.
Yeah, not because of how old they are.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with like them. Like, 30 years old isn't old in the realm of the real world. Like, 30 years old, you're still like pretty much in your prime. So it's like, like 28 to 32 years old, like that's not old for like reaction time and all that kind of shit. So when people make that excuse, it's ridiculous.
I used to think like you had to like play since you were a kid, like with any sports, you like all the professional athletes in soccer, like football and all they start at very young age. But I think maybe, I don't know, 22, 23, I really think that, and you go pro like 20. Jax, didn't he like become pro when he was like, or peaked now, like when he was 26 or something like that?
Yeah, he
Like,
joined
really
G2
old.
at the age of 26.
It was really surprising for me. I really didn't think that would ever like happen, kind of. But I don't know how long he played, and like, but yeah, I think just age is just a number, to be honest. I used to think like you have to start as a youngster and all that, but I just think the hunger and dedication and how much you put into CS, that's matter, not the age.
It's quite hard to say. I think some of the pros that are new to CS:GO, like I think some of them only played for like a couple of years before they, like especially people in FPL. I think some of them said they only played for 2 years, and then they're in FPL now. And when you're in FPL, you have a shot at getting like to the pro level, because you have a lot of people watching you.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of eyes. So I'm not sure. Maybe around 26, 27. If you start at that age, I think it's like better to just get a normal job, than going for CS.
And I guess if you have no experience, there's no real way to tell without someone actually saying they made it at a certain age, because like right now we're kind of like the point where like the players who first started playing Counter-Strike are getting to like the older ages, like 30, 31, 32, 33. Like we're only going to see going forward how long they can maintain that skill for. We can't really see that yet. Yeah, people are retiring, but there's still players like Taz and like Forrest, who's like almost 30. He's still playing, and he's still really good in my opinion. he might be an anomaly because he's obviously a prodigy and a legend, but at the same time, maybe he's gonna play till he's 35 and he's gonna maintain the same amount of skill.
Yeah.
And we're only gonna know how that goes unless we have to wait for the next 5 years to see that, right? But I guess if I had to guess right now, I would say like if I had to put a number to it, maybe like without any experience, I'd say latest maybe like 25.
Yeah.
But that's even like that's hard, obviously. I think I don't know. Like Jax, for example, I don't know how long Jax has been playing, but I know he didn't go like to the higher tiers of pros until he was like 25 or 26. So that's probably after playing for a long time too. So
Yeah.
just start at 25 is another, beast in itself.
It's very hard because the thing is there has rarely been an exception to the rule, but like every player I think that is here in like top teams. I mean, if we're calling pro, that's like top 30 team.
Yeah.
I think a top 30 team is like more accessible, but even then, like everyone is playing since they're, I guess, like 13, 14, 15, something like that. Especially nowadays where the average level is much higher than it was back in the days. So I guess in that range, like anywhere between 13 and 17, you have to start playing the game, I think. If you have no other background in like other games whatsoever. I think this is the range where you have to start later because you can peak later in your career, like Jax, for example, that like is really peaking right now when he's like 26, 27.
Yeah.
But to make your whole way into the pro scene, like even he has been playing for like 10, 15 years. So yeah, I think it would be in that range. I think if you start later, you have a lot to catch up on.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still make it for sure, and maybe there's already someone that proved me wrong by coming in later, but that's what I would say.